Hey guys, welcome back to Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. We're here going to be talking a little, all kinds of fun stuff. We got some drifting to talk about, got some drag racing to talk a little bit of TV action. We've got a fella in the studio today with us that's been on a couple of reality shows. It's going to be kind of fun to talk about that kind of stuff, but we'll get to that here in just a second. Before we get started real good, be sure to go and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify for full episodes of the show. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and that way that's where we put the new content up. So be sure and be looking for that. Man, we had a TikTok video go bananas this week. It's the first kind of viral thing we've ever done. We had a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we had David Counts on talking about a little dirt racing and whatnot. And one of the little minute and 30-second videos that we put on TikToks has eclipsed 53,000 views just in a week. So, and gained us like 600 followers on TikTok. So spread the word. This little show's starting to grow. It's starting to get some traction. We're going to have some fun. So also, being that that's been said, we're actually putting it out there for sponsorship. So if you're interested in sponsoring this little show, there's several ways we can do it, several ways that we have packages put together for you to take a look at that. So private message me on Facebook, on Instagram, and we'll take a look at getting you in here. We've got a lot of ways to do that. So in the studio tonight, we have James Rowlett.
How you doing?
The boost of burden.
The boost of burden. It just sticks around and never leaves.
That's right. It will never go. And we have Micah DeLozier back in co-hosting with us. It's been a week or two. Glad to have you back.
Glad to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So, James, unless you're in the drag world, nobody knows who you are, man. Tell us who you are, what you've been doing.
Well, I mean...
That left it pretty wide open, didn't it?
Yeah. Ouch. Started with the burn.
Big
what have you been doing?
Well, since about 1998, I've been drag racing.
Nice. Mr. Drag Guy.
But, to support that kind of habit, you have to make money however you can. So I always worked on everybody's cars. And, of course, that grew and grew and grew as I was growing up and getting older. And, I've always loved cars, period. So it didn't necessarily have to be drag racing, We did the Hot Rod Power Tour from like 99 to 2012.
Oh, nice.
I did it with Dad. 1 year I won the giveaway. 2010 I won the giveaway Camaro.
Oh, no kidding.
Tour.
Heck,
2010
That's
Camaro.
awesome.
Did you get to keep it?
Yeah. I mean, I sold it and just wasted all the money on... I don't know. I bought a welder and, I don't know.
Whatever.
Who knows where the money went.
Long time ago.
It was a whole lot of money for me back then, like
Heck
37, 38 grand or something.
Wow.
awesome.
Wow.
You do have to pay tax,
Oh, yeah.
sales tax like you bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have to pay income tax like you won money. That's
gotcha.
great.
Little things they don't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so, I've always been into cars and definitely into drag racing weekly or whatever, and it just kind of progressed over the years. Did a little more, did NMCA, did the local stuff, did, like you said, the TV show, The Fastest Cars in the Dirty South. Did that. It's kind of silly and fun, and, it was a cool experience. I got Micah to do it with me a little bit and, all that. And then after that, I kind of felt like I could get back to being normal, which pretty much didn't change anything, I guess, because I just kept doing the same thing. But, when I always loved drifting and driving cars like that, when it wasn't a real big thing, everybody went to see Tokyo Drift and thought that they could drift in the parking lot or whatever. But
Great movie.
Watched it today.
I'm going to give myself away on this one, but if my dad's listening, but I got a Camaro, a third-gen Camaro when I was 14. That's a whole story in itself. But then when I was 15, I got a little bit nicer one. And every time my dad or my mom are gone and it was raining, I had a big sweeper in my neighborhood.
Nice.
I either did great or cleaned out somebody's yard a lot when I was 15, you know. That actually taught me a lot about driving,
Nice.
Yeah.
especially with something that spins the right rear tire.
Yeah.
Pretty
Only-
much got to go this way.
Yeah.
It was pretty much never spinning both, you know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh, man. But then, you know, like I met y'all, and when I was working at Boost Addicts, and
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, hey, here's my... I
Here's
can go
your
hang out with
name.
them, see what it really takes to do this. And you know,
Yeah.
I've learned so much over the years about the car setups and where you have to go and be, and you know, because
a
it's
lot.
just fun for me, but
Yeah.
the competition part I didn't really
Yeah,
understand.
it's a lot different than just doing donuts or
Yeah.
sliding it around parking lots and stuff like that.
Oh,
Actually
yeah,
having
for
to
sure.
keep it in between lines or cones or in an area and
Yeah, I mean,
follow an
there's
actual
somewhere you're
course.
supposed to
a little
be.
bit of a difference.
know.
Yeah.
But if you're like me and you show up while the driver's meeting's going on, you don't really know
Where was I supposed to
where
go?
that is, you know.
Oh, I'm not supposed to slide the car over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Not supposed to. Not
Nobody
supposed to
told
be
me
in the
that.
That's when
grass.
you get yelled at.
Not supposed to be in the grass. Not supposed to be in the gravel.
Well,
Not supposed to hit the wall.
I've only got in trouble for going through the NSS apron backwards 4 or 5 times. I don't. No more sweeper, Barry said.
Me too.
No more sweeper.
Yeah. Well, I've
Not
said
today.
you're not the only one to ever hear that. So.
Well, I'm pretty sure 80% of the people that were there that day probably did some sort of the same thing in the rain. You know, that was wild.
It's funny you bring that up because just this week, I don't know if you saw it, just a couple of days ago, that subject came up on our Facebook pages in a big long chat thread, and everybody wanting the OG way to run the track come back. You know, the big high speed sweeper and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody's tagging me in it. Hey man, bring it back. We want to drive that way. I'm not coming back to NSS unless you run it the right way. And I'm like, well, if you buttheads could learn how to drive it, we'd do it more often. But you keep going through the grass and tearing it up, so that's why we can't.
It's a lot of fun to do it that way because you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just come in the
Yeah.
backside
Yeah.
and you can
Yeah.
do the whole rest of the course and not
Mhm.
even worry about it.
Mhm.
But you know, when Barry's like, we're having an entry speed contest
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
in the rain.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah. No. It's always fun. So, you know, I've done your events that you've had. Just
Yeah.
I tried to make it to all of them. I've bought cars to go. Not drift cars, but
You have-
something that would drift.
You have come like to almost every event in a different car, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He had the white Mustang.
White Mustang.
You had a Camaro at one time.
Silver Camaro.
Yeah,
did
silver
Adrenaline.
Camaro.
Yeah.
Me and
Then
me and Schiraldi blew the transmission up.
then he showed up. He showed up in a C6 Z06
Yeah.
burnt orange one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That was supposed to drift.
No, but he did it.
Nothing,
oh, that-
nothing set up to
sideways.
drift, right?
Got
Like
Nothing
no,
set up
just-
to drift.
none of those
Like
were
off the
actually
car
drift
lot, yeah.
cars. Yeah.
No, my
Literally just off
SVO,
the lot.
my black SVO Mustang.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that
Yeah.
one.
Definitely was not. That one was not.
That one struggled a little bit.
That was like a stock 240 with just like 30 more horsepower
Yeah.
and handled way worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had to just no, I think you rode with me
I rode with you.
and about
once.
halfway around you said take me back to the trailer. And I was like, what's
Like
going on?
once,
And you're like, you're
like-
being way too aggressive. And
Like-
I'm like, you have to do it to make this thing.
Yeah, but I'm out. Drop me off.
So yeah, that's how bad I've wanted it. I've wanted to do it and have an actual car.
Yeah.
And then Derek Carter's let me drive his car
Yeah.
a few times, and JT, I drove both of those cars.
Yeah.
At some point in time or the other, one of them was like an IA or I don't know. But you know, finally, for the Hot Rod Power Tour thing, I said, Derek, will you talk to Barry?
Finally talked him into it.
Will you talk to Barry, you know? And he's like, Barry's going to be mad at me because I didn't make it the other day to the...
Derek,
So-
The event.
Derek is such a sissy sometimes.
And
he thinks
and
I'm,
I was like,
he thinks I'm mad at him just because. I mean, it's just funny. Like,
He just
no,
doesn't
dude,
want-
I'm not.
You just don't want to disappoint.
doesn't want to disappoint
Yeah.
you for
Yeah,
whatever reason. And you know, I worry about that stuff too. But
he's funny.
he's like,
I got.
he
over
pretty
that a
much
long
said he
time ago.
wasn't going to go.
Yeah, yeah. He got over that a long time ago.
So I just said, you know what? It's 10:30 in the morning.
I had a bucket of
I'm
cold
calling
water
him.
right now.
So I called you and I was like, you know, if there's not a full thing or if I can just show up or something. Derek told me I could go get the black and green car from his house, and he's already there, you know, or whatever.
He called me like looking for some tires or something, and I was like, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm opening up the garage door at Derek's house. I'm getting this black car. I'm about to load it and get up there."
It wasn't even like ready
what?
to get out.
What?
Well, Barry was kind of like, well, you know, we want to have like some cars that look the part and whatnot up there. And then I was like, Derek said I could get the black and green car and bring it. And he was like, well, I guess if he'll trust you with it, I guess I do too. So
Yeah.
I was like, I promise I won't make you look like an idiot, you know.
So the first thing that happened was Derek called me like 2 days before and was like, hey, I just wanted to hear your opinion. James wants to come and drive. And I'm like, okay. And he said, and he wants to use my black and green car. And I went, okay. Like that. I said, you know, this is Bowling Green. There are walls. You know, that's up to you. If you trust him to do that, you know. And and I don't remember if I even said, I was thinking in my head, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, you know, just because like you've never really driven an actual drift car. You've drifted cars that aren't drift cars, right?
Well, I mean,
He's driven that car there.
I've driven Derek's black and green car at
There.
NSS at Beach Bend.
Okay, see.
So I have more seat time in that car than anything.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't totally.
See, I didn't even
Yeah.
know that, you know
He
what I mean?
has driven that car on
Gotcha.
that track and
Gotcha.
done it. So
Yeah,
I think that was the first time he drove it was at Beach Bend.
Nice.
And I
think it was.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
want to watch.
It
Yeah,
scared me
Yeah.
to death.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, yeah. I was cool with the whole thing. I just wanted to be a part of it,
Yeah.
and I just try to push a little
Yeah.
harder to get towards it. And
Yeah.
and luckily you let me come. I appreciate it.
Well, and then that's what was so funny to us. Then you go out there and friggin' kill it and make the top 8 and get in the competition.
Well, it wasn't a normal top 8 thing. You know,
Well, but it was handpicked, you know. There were 14 cars there,
Yeah.
and there weren't but 8 getting in. So
I was not expecting that.
call it 8th place or whatever you want to call it, but
Oh, I don't care.
you did better than some of them did.
That might have been first place in my head. I mean,
Sure.
because I just was coming to have fun and support the event. Hopefully, I can make a couple of laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just whatever. And then I was like, "What do you mean you're calling my name?" And you know,
Well, and I told you that too, you know, because I wanted you to be prepared just in case, and I didn't want anybody coming to that thing thinking that it was a wide open drift event for a 3-hour show, because it wasn't. You know, they literally wanted us to put on a competition, so I knew going up there that there were going to be a handful of guys that made 2 laps and had to go home. So I wanted everybody to know that. You know, I wasn't just telling you that. I was trying to tell everybody that. I want to make sure everybody knew that it wasn't just an open drift day. You know, they wanted a competition.
yeah, it was a small window.
Dude, and they loved it too. They freaking loved it. They loved what we did.
It seemed like it.
We'll be doing that again.
It happened really fast
Mhm.
and worked out. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't always go that way, you know.
Yeah.
It seemed to work out pretty good.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
But I was sitting there stunned because I'm like, "Why are you calling my name?" And I know there's some people that were like, "Oh, Barry just said James's name because he knows him."
No.
But, you
I don't
know.
do that crap.
It was funny because I had run the course in my head for 2 days before I even knew I could come.
Yeah.
And me and Derek both talked about it. I'm just not going to hit the sweeper because I wasn't going to worry about
Yeah.
making the top 8.
Yeah.
Well, luckily the top 8 was judged off of everything else on the course,
Pretty much.
basically. I mean,
Yeah,
because
after
people
the
don't know
sweeper.
what they're looking for.
Yeah, pretty much.
The crowd or whatever is what I mean.
It was more judged on hitting the stuffed animals than anything. You know what I mean? And then doing some kind of fun figure 8 down around the barrels. That's
I
what
feel like
that's what everybody was after.
I did that. And,
Yeah.
And then I was like, uh-oh, now I have to run door to door.
With
and
somebody.
I was like, Derek, he goes, "You're good. Just go down there and throw it in the sweeper wide open." And I was like,
You gotta love that.
okay.
Yes, sir.
You gotta love that.
He was like, "You don't have a choice now," because I didn't, because he pulled out there and blew a power steering line.
Oh yeah.
So he didn't even get to drive his car.
Yeah, I know it.
He pulled out there to warm the tires up, and it was over. Never got to. I let him drive or hop in the black and green car and make a couple a lapse in case I just needed to let him take that car. You know,
Yeah.
I think he made 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then I made the rest of them or whatever. I felt so bad. I was like, man, just get in the car and just go do the thing. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not the one that's gonna place anything here. Like, and he's like, nope.
You
I
brought
mean,
it. It's
I don't know how
yours.
I made it there.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you were rolling in just as we were starting to try to maybe organize everybody to have the drivers meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
We knew you were coming, so like we were delaying. We weren't going to do it without you. We knew you were coming.
I just want you to know that my F-350, it'll run like 95 with that trailer
On the close course.
in Mexico.
Yeah, professional drivers.
Mexico Beach Bend.
Yeah, professional driver close course.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of when the tables turned for me, and I was
Then it was all.
I was hooked after making the top 8 and being like, okay, I can be a little more. I feel more comfortable tandem, and you know, let's go for it. And in my opinion, and everybody else's probably too, my tandem sucked. It was terrible.
Can't say anything for the first time ever. So.
But
Everybody's first time is.
You know,
You know?
at least you learned on the second, on your follow run that you were supposed to stay on the other side of the cones.
I don't even know how that happened.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I
about
really
that.
don't know how that happened.
Where's
Totally.
he going?
Cut the corner. Was like, oh, he did. Yeah. I mean, if you want to go that way, that's fine.
Well, I hit the sweeper, and then I was like, oh, I feel okay, but now I'm worried about him hitting me. It's Derek's car. I'm
Yeah.
just worried about
Yeah, yeah.
Derek's car. And then I was like, I didn't even know I missed that whole thing. I just cut it off.
A little
Like,
shallow.
just make your own course. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, I just kept going like nothing happened. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
That's what you do.
Nobody else knew that there was anything wrong till you said something. I wouldn't.
I meant to do that.
Yeah,
I did-
yeah.
I meant to do that. That's.
I
what's
thought it was
supposed to
freestyle, tandem freestyle. You have to guess where everybody's going. Could be a new thing.
happen. Freestyle tandems.
Yeah.
Like
You just
Monster.
have to follow the chase car, the lead car. You have no idea what the course is. You just have to
Yeah.
follow him.
Monster Jam.
Interesting. We'll have to look at
If
that.
the lead car doesn't know where they're going, though,
Yeah.
that's real fun.
Yeah. That's what makes it that much more challenging. Why not?
Where's
Where's he
he
going?
going?
Yeah.
No
I want to
brainer.
be the first lead car. I don't want to have to chase that. That sounds hilarious.
I did get to lead first, so.
Yep.
And he was so confused. He's like, where did you... I was like, I'm sorry. I'm new.
I don't know. I don't know.
know what to do.
I don't know.
So, yeah, then I somehow cooked up a plan to get the old 240 from Micah, and
So you actually own a real drift car now.
I own a real drift car.
Purpose built.
She's been rode hard and put away wet
Several times.
every
For-
time.
About
She has
15
been
years.
passed around a little bit.
About 15
Several
years.
people have...
So that was
Oh,
my
man.
that was my first car here. That was my first car in Tennessee. That car was originally purchased in 2010 out of a barn in Kentucky for $400. Running, driving S13 coupe for $400 because it had dropped a valve or something. It would run, but it wouldn't run very well. And brought that thing home, gutted it, started working on it, and that's when Brent found the S14. Brent had a Camaro that he was road racing, messing around with, and so he had a motor, and he wanted to build a drift car too, and so I ended up trading him that car. I never actually drove that car. We put the
Oh.
cage in it, we put the dash in it, got it ready, cut the cross member, got it ready to accept an LS motor, but we never did it. And then I traded it off to Brent, and Brent finished it, and he was driving before I was. I started all over with the S14 that ended up being the bunny that everybody knows.
Yep.
But that car that you've got now was the first car that I built
That's
or
pretty
started
cool.
out with. Old
Well,
J.R. Weist helped me put the cage in that car back in
Yeah.
the day. That's a long time ago.
She's getting a few updates here and
Good.
there.
It needs it.
It's had a few updates, It has good stuff on it.
It's got WiseFab on it, doesn't it?
It's got WiseFab on the front.
On the front?
Yeah.
WiseFab on the front. I
Hmm.
think the rear WiseFab got put on JT's red car.
Yeah. It did have rear on it for a little while, and then
I thought it did.
when he bought the 14, I swapped everything over to that. But I did put dual calipers on it.
Yep.
So it's got a separate system for that.
Nice.
Fuel coilovers.
I can't wait to let
Holly,
you drive it
everything.
again.
It'd be cool.
Get it all put
Because
back
I
together.
mean, for first time out, it went where I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Um,
functioning drift car.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it not to do what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
We got to work on rear grip a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really didn't want to do third gear.
And that's a 240 thing too.
Of course, it could be the tire. I bought some tires before I
Yeah.
went just to have something decent, not crap, like something that actually
Yeah.
works,
Yeah.
and just to try to get it, I think we dropped the tires down to like 16 pounds in the back by the end of the night.
Yeah.
But I did run the whole night on the same back set of tires too, so I probably should have swapped them out.
Nice.
But, we were more worried about all the water just
Water.
going everywhere
Yeah.
out of the front.
Maybe that's why the tires lasted so long. Track was wet.
Cooling them off. Cooling them off as soon as.
They never had time to heat up.
It's super cool though. Like,
That's awesome.
I didn't expect it to make more than 2 runs at the most when we went up there, and that's why I went, because I was hoping that it would be good Tuesday, or I'd find out what was wrong,
Yeah.
and then either decide I can't go to the super speedway or
Oh,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like the test,
Yeah.
and of course it didn't make it, but also they got canceled. It worked out great.
It's worked out perfect. All right, guys, that's segment 1. We're going to take a little break here right quick. I've got a couple of commercials to show you. Be sure and subscribe to Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp, YouTube, Spotify. Be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook as well, Slide Factory page. Check us out. Spread the word. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Finch with Finch Performance, and we're just going to take a quick little peek around the shop here to see some of the different things that we work on around here. So first up, we've got some chassis in production. We've got a small backlog right now, but we're knocking out some 67 to 72 C10 stuff. We've got a really cool 67 crew cab Chevy here, C10. We've made a custom one-off Apex Predator chassis with long arm suspension all the way around. This thing's going to be pretty badass. 56 F100 with a Coyote 10-speed. Just all we got left here is really getting the supercharger installed, finishing up the wiring and a little bit of the fuel system, get it fired off. And then, of course, we're back on our Ferrari 308 custom project here with the LT5 engine and a Graziano 6-speed transaxle. So this thing is going to be full kill, badass. And that's just some of the things that we do here. So we don't just build trucks. We build a lot of everything. Main thing is we have a good time, because that's what it's about.
If you guys are interested in getting a vehicle wrap done, or if you guys just need a banner made for your office or something cool like that, a mural on your walls, give Graphic Effects a call. 615-896-4301. They're in Middle Tennessee. They're the best in the business of what they do. If you need vinyl, you need stickers, you need wraps, give these guys a shout. Graphic Effects, 896-4301, 615.
Hey guys, welcome back to Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. We're here with James Rowlett, talking a little drag racing, a little drifting, a little bit of everything. Been rambling a little bit. It's been kind of fun. It's fun to hear your story of where you where you first started driving and what you were doing, and all the way to the present. You've had a pretty long story. You've done a lot of different things. So go back to where you were talking about, like, how did you get your start, like drag racing? You've done drag racing for the most part of what you've been, most of your career, I guess you'd call it, whatever, right? You've been a drag racer for the most part.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, we would go to the drag races. But before I was born, my dad and a couple of his buddies, they had a drag car that they all ran together.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 72 Corvette. And it was like John Shacklett at Shacklett's
Oh, yeah.
in the machine shop.
Yeah, yeah.
So his uncles and everything, and his dad,
And Bo.
they all did it. Bo didn't really do the Corvette, but Johnny Red and Tommy and Dad did the Corvette or whatever. And then when I was born, too much is going on. Everybody's getting older. It just sat around, you know, and Dad just didn't race. What I just couldn't give it, you know, I knew I wanted to drag race for my whole life, you know, so they had, you know, junior dragsters came out. They started doing that in like 1992, like
wow.
originally, I think in like Englishtown or something.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. But we didn't have the money to have junior dragsters and stuff, you know, like, I mean, Dad didn't even go with his buddies and do it anymore. But we would just go to Huntsville. We would go to the Union Hill and Beach Bend and see the races and whatnot. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. And finally I was 11 and Dad said,
It's time.
he said, it's time. We can get a junior dragster.
Nice.
And when he said that, he was all in. He's like, we're going to get a junior dragster. We're going to get an enclosed trailer. We did the whole thing.
Golf cart, everything.
We're going to go every single Friday night to run for points at Union Hill. And actually, my first junior dragster it came from Donnie Etherly's kids' Tennessee Speed Sport.
Oh, yeah.
It still had the Tennessee Speed Sport paint scheme on it back then, you know.
Yeah.
And I got my butt whooped hard every single Friday night. I remember I made it to the quarterfinals one time the first year I raced.
Wow.
But I don't really give up very easily, you know. But the caliber of racers that I was racing were people that had been doing it for, you know, there was some 16, 17-year-old kids that were about to be done with that.
Wow.
And I had to race them first round. I mean, they didn't pair you up by age. It was just like, you're either going to figure it out or you're going to get your butt whooped.
Yeah.
And so it was like trial by fire, which is my thing, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
I just get thrown at it. And I just never gave up, and I just got better and better and better. And we raced more, and we went out of town racing. We traveled around the country racing.
Wow.
They used to have a bunch of stuff, a bunch of big races back then that paid. We had a $10,000 race in Jackson in like 2002. Junior
Wow.
junior dragsters.
Just junior dragsters.
Just junior dragsters.
That's amazing.
I'm looking for some stuff like that to take
That'd be
Poppy
cool.
to right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
But that's how I, you know, got started drag racing, and I just never could give it up.
Yeah.
But I've always had a thing where it's kind of funny, like driving Derek's car.
Yeah.
For some reason, everybody always wanted me to drive their cars or let me drive their cars. So on Friday night at Union Hill, I'd race a junior dragster. I'd race somebody's like street car Camaro, and then I might race somebody's super pro, you know, like the, you know, delay box. Run all three of those classes. Or for a while I ran like trophy class junior dragsters and high school class. All on the same night, just running back different cars, running back and forth,
Wow.
and just wore it out. I mean,
Wearing
yeah.
it out. That's
I won the
awesome.
track championship at the Hill several times in different classes, junior dragsters, and a bunch of my buddies that I raced with and stuff, they all went to college, and we all went to college, and everybody else kind of grew up, and I didn't.
I stayed at the racetrack.
I never stopped going. I still go.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I like to do is go to the Hill on Tuesday night and just play with a streetcar or whatever. Just
Yeah.
go, just be there
Yeah.
and have fun, you know.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
like the Civic.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a 95 EG Turbo Civic. I mean, have a ball with it. Just beat on it and run Copilot. They have Copilot like every other Tuesday night. Just go up there, have some fun, come home, be done.
Yep.
So I can't give it up completely.
Yeah.
But when I have something else that's an outlet, it's a lot easier to step back.
Yeah.
Like taking my daughter racing junior dragsters.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can kind of. Well, we went to a race not too long ago, just the junior dragster. Didn't even think about having a race car for myself.
Nice.
Loved it.
Nice.
Ride my mini bike, and she's like my right hand man. She just goes wherever I go. Ride on the mini bike and pull the junior dragster. That's a great idea, Daddy. Let's go.
Nice.
You know, whatever. So that's. I mean, it's almost more fun than racing.
Yeah.
So that must have been how my dad felt, spending all that money and all that time back in the day
Sure.
taking us.
Sure.
Because my sister raced too.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. Oh, and so Poppy went like 4 or 5 rounds at Beach Bend at this race,
Nice.
however many months ago it was now. And she got the butt. I mean, I could just look at her and tell. And
She's
she was
got it.
like, "What do you mean I'm not going another round?" And I had taught her how to drive the finish line. In bracket racing, you know, you have to get there first, but also you can't go faster than the time you
Yeah.
posted. So
Yeah.
how do you explain that to an 8-year-old?
Yeah.
But she was just killing it. She knows.
Yeah.
And I
She's
was like,
got the
I got to
drift.
update our program here. I had like a, $2,500 car. And like I said earlier tonight before we started doing this, a new rolling chassis
Ugh.
is $8,500 with no engine.
Wow.
And then if you want the, super badass engine stuff, which she doesn't need because she's 8, it's, $5,000 or $6,000. We could build some more drift cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
pretty
just
sweet one.
randomly ran
We could just
across.
buy one for that. That's already done. That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
No kidding.
Randomly ran across one of my sister's old junior dragsters she had in 2003.
Hmm.
It ended up being in East Tennessee, and I got it, and it looked like it was that old.
Hmm.
I mean, that's 21 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd been whipped on, but it was the same car, and I thought that was so cool
That's-
that my
that's
little
pretty
girl
sweet.
would get my sister's car.
Yeah.
Some people still think that girls don't race for some reason, but they do.
Yep.
And so I stripped it all the way apart, all the way down to the bare chassis, had it blasted and powder coated.
Nice.
Everything's brand new. It looks brand new. I'm hoping the paint came in today,
That's awesome.
and we're going to paint it again. We've painted it about 3 times and haven't liked any of it, but now we got this sweet Tamco. They call it lipstick.
Nice.
It's beautiful pink color.
Nice.
Heck
I
yeah.
would like to do the drift car that color actually, but it's too expensive. Yeah.
So we need a lipstick sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like I can keep up with drifting and doing Poppy's junior dragster program a little easier than I can a drag car. Yeah, I know y'all might think I'm crazy, but you've been around it.
No, yeah.
You can keep a drift car together a little easier.
Oh yeah.
As long as you
Yeah,
take the
drag
time
car.
and
Yeah.
do it right and don't
Yeah.
let anybody else drive it.
You don't have to tear it all the way. Watch it over there. I kind of felt that one. That hurt
There's
a
like
little
a,
bit.
there's a whole section of the front end missing, I noticed.
The right side.
And yeah, no. By the way,
But anyway.
it needs
I can tell
needs
you
some
all
steering
about it.
stop. It needs some more steering stop on it.
Yeah. And you can dial back the
Or I think you told me
like I said, you just add some more grip in it and it won't be so tail happy to where it just wants to slide all the way around.
Well, he doesn't really want to do that. That was just me kind of testing the
And
limits. But
you have to learn how to actually drive the car and give it what it wants,
yeah,
so.
it needs if you need that much angle, it's not going to be at
Well,
like
that's
Beach Bend.
that's kind of
You
the whole
can't carry
purpose of the
enough
angle
speed.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's like you're not supposed to use that all the time. It's just when
you
put
need it.
yourself in that situation that you can. Throw
Yeah,
it all
I'm
the way
not
over
doing
and maybe
reverse
come
entries
back,
at
so.
Beach Bend. So
You'd have to have a ton of power to use
Yeah.
that angle all the time.
Dude.
yeah, it definitely. That's what was really wild to me when the other night, kind of seeing what it wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It has so much angle, it would slow the car down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you were like
Well, that's
to
where the
left foot brake
That's
in
where
a certain spot. If
Yeah.
you crank that thing hard enough, it'd slow it down.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
That's where the big smoke show comes from.
Yeah.
You get it so sideways, it puts it in a bind, but the wheel speed stays high and the car slows down. That's where all the smoke comes from. But you got to have power to do that.
It definitely spins hard. Lots of smoke in third. Lots of smoke. There's a
That little motor
huge
ran good.
difference. Well, it's going to run good again. It's going to run good again. You know, and we're going to get the taxi back together with that turbo motor.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
I'm excited about that.
That's gonna be fun.
I'm
That car
excited to see
needs-
that car run.
It needs power.
It needs power.
It's heavy.
I can't remember what the LSA made, like 600.
It's
It
like
was,
six,
it was
625
At the wheels, it was 525 horse, 585 torque.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
we're going to
and
make
the torque is what that car has to have because it's so heavy,
it's
especially
gonna
with 4
make,
people in it.
600 on lowish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The turbo's there, the fuel system's there, the
Nice.
engine's there for 1,000 plus,
nice.
and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Drift Taxi may be coming back.
No,
I'm
going to make sure
she's
it's coming
on
back.
the way back. The big Infinity. I love that.
And it's going to be crazier than ever.
We'll have to figure out a new wrap for it.
Yeah.
Bring it back wild and crazy.
Just put
yeah.
turbos all over it.
Just
Turbo,
pictures.
turbo.
Just
Turbos
pictures of
everywhere.
camo it with turbos.
We've talked about that for so long.
could
I'm
do
glad
that.
that we're getting to do it on.
Yeah, it's cool.
The little 240 doesn't need a turbo.
Yeah,
It doesn't need more power.
yeah.
It has the power. Unless you're,
Speak of the devil.
unless you're going and hitting the sweeper at the super speedway in 4th gear and trying to keep her rolling. But, I mean,
Just a good motor.
it's really
Yeah.
funny what will do the job.
Oh yeah.
Everybody seems to want to overpower everything, especially
Yeah.
drag racers. I mean,
Mhm. No, I bet.
I'm like, oh, what do you mean it doesn't have 1,000 horsepower? Is it broke?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah. You still have to be able to put the power down. So,
correct.
and if like the S chassis already struggles with rear grip anyway, so I
Mhm.
mean, you put 1,000 horsepower in that, and you're not going anywhere. You're just gonna sit still until you put that mechanical grip in the back. So,
I love man. So back in the day, we remember I had S13 hatches.
Nice.
They were $1,500,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
they were nice cars.
Yeah.
I got rear-ended one time in a S10 that I had, and it totaled it. And they had some pain and suffering money or whatever I ended up getting.
Nice.
I bought a S13 hatch for $1,500 with
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and it was perfect and white.
Mm.
mm.
You
If
used
I
to be
would've
able to
just
do
held
that.
on-
Drift Tax ruined that.
Drift Tax ruined it. And it didn't have any rust except for the old floppy spoiler in the back where it bolts on, you know.
Nice.
And I was 16 or 17 then.
That's awesome.
But one of my buddies, Steve Pionki, he had one of the first I saw SR swapped,
Oh, yeah.
S13 hatches. It was white just like that one.
Yeah.
And I thought that car was so cool.
Yeah.
He ended up buying, you got the whole front end of the car from Japan,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
where they cut it off, and he got the whole front end, and the whole front end showed up. The whole thing with the dash and the right-hand drive and all of it on it.
Heck yeah. 180
Swapped all that.
SX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his dad worked for Nissan, and they were very meticulous about. And this car was just perfect.
That's
you couldn't
sweet.
pick anything apart. It looked like it came like it.
That's awesome.
And I remember how much fun it was, And it made 300 horsepower,
Yeah.
Hmm.
which was
It's a lot back.
Was a-
Back
was
then,
a lot.
Yeah.
that was 05,
Yeah.
4 or 5, something like that. So I've been around a whole lot of different cars, not just. You always joke, you're like, James is a Mustang guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
It's what you were when I met you, so that's all I know,
yeah,
You've been around everything.
not a Mustang guy. I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
Whatever car we can get a hold of. That's why me and Micah are bad together, because we like to drag home whatever.
Yeah.
Jeeps,
Yeah.
trucks,
Yeah.
cars, anything that sounds
Golf
cool.
carts.
Yeah.
Golf carts.
dirt
I drug
bikes,
home a truck and a
scooters,
boat the other day.
Anything.
Yeah.
Mini bikes.
You need a boat, don't you?
No, I do not need a boat.
I do need to come get that boat. I'll make Mr. C clean it up. And we'll go have a good time.
Well, I ordered tires today for the truck, and it's still hooked to the boat, so
Perfect.
that makes sense, right? I have a dually,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but let's just buy tires for this other truck so we can
Yes.
just stay hooked up.
Why not?
I think Mr. C should get it clean for me. I took it to the lake last night. Me and
Did
Tinder,
you?
we took it to the lake at like 11 o'clock last night. And he said, I'm going to sit at the dock, or I'm going to sit on the ramp with the trailer in the water.
Just to be able to start it. And
No. So when you get out there and it starts sinking, just head back. Because we didn't know if it was going to sink. I mean, realistically, we didn't think it was going to sink, but it's been sitting and sitting and sitting. I didn't know.
You never know.
I knew that it wouldn't get hot and it would sit there and run. And I had to, work on some crap that I didn't know anything about boats. And we got it running, and I was like, we're going to the lake. And my wife was like, what do you mean you're going? It's 11 o'clock at night. I was like, we just need to make sure it floats in the water. We're
we'll
good.
Be right back.
I'm not going on a party cruise. And I was scared to death, too. It started beeping, and I didn't know what the beeping was. And I was like, I think that means it's sinking. Let's get back. And it was the depth finder telling me I was in 0.2 of a foot of water.
Oh, nice.
And that was not in 0.2 of it. It was just beep. It's just old.
it's awesome.
But it's actually a very nice boat. It's just dirty and been sitting outside. And I don't need it. I need drift car parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So boat for sale already? Boat for sale?
It's gonna be for sale when I get it all shined up. I'm joking, but it's a very nice boat. My buddy bought it brand new. It's, it's just been, the cover fell in, like a couple of years ago when it's sitting under a tree, and they just let it sit there. He's like, the interior's ruined, and I kind of started cleaning it out, and it's really not.
Not that bad.
There's a couple of stitches and a couple of seams, and other than that, it's clean right off.
Heck yeah.
See how I just ramble? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're talking about boats now.
Yeah, we're talking about boats now.
Next,
no more drifting or drag racing, all boats.
We have to talk about what you have to do to make the money to do
That's right.
the other stuff.
That's right. You
Yep.
got to make sure that you can get to the track with tires, with gas, whatever it takes.
Tires. Yeah. I can tell that's not going to be good for me.
So compare drag racing to drifting as far as tires go. When you put tires on your drag car, how often do you do that?
Well, a lot less often. If you get super duper competitive, you want to get tires a lot more often than drag racing.
Like every other event, you
Some guys
put
like
a new set of tires
the
on
drag
every...
radial guys, the super crazy ones. I mean, they have a few sets for the event.
Oh.
Some guys run one or two events, or somebody like me just runs them till they don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't need. I'm not that serious.
Yeah.
Like if you lost because your tires weren't quite as good,
Yeah.
you weren't in the ball game. So
Yeah.
I mean, you've been there with me dragging the bumper on that Mustang for an eighth of a mile. Like it didn't need new tires.
Yeah. No, not if it'll do that.
What was it? English Mountain?
English
over
Mountain.
Kingsport?
Yeah, running no prep before no prep. No prep is so big, around everything right now and crazy. And
It's like 2017 or something like that.
nobody showed up with drag radials for sure, but that's all I had.
Yep.
I don't I feel like we had slicks, but I don't know why they weren't on there. But it was December. I had drag radials. There were some guys there that were like, you're not going to do anything with that. Like, whatever. No, run like 145 mile an hour.
Skating. I mean, you look down behind the line, and I mean, that mother's that side, that side, that side. And it's like,
I know it was 145 because somebody asked me how I was going that fast. And I just...
he went rounds there. He went all the way down. You end up splitting the wind.
We ended up splitting it. I mean, it was snowing.
Yeah.
It was literally snowing. I had like 4 shirts on, a hoodie, my 20-layer suit, freezing cold, shouldn't have worked. But to answer your question, really, I could do probably the whole season on 2, maybe 3 sets of rear tires.
Yeah.
And that wasn't ever a big deal.
Yeah.
I think 2 different years I won some of those raffles for a set of tires.
Oh, nice.
Like the illegal Facebook raffles,
Nice.
Yep.
And that paid for my tires a couple of times. But it depends on the burnouts you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love burnouts.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I like drifting too. So,
Everybody's got to have a good burnout.
oh yeah.
That's right.
A nice, good high gear burnout. Mike has seen it.
Everybody's got to do one.
Roxanne coming out of the water at 8,500 on the rev limiter,
It's
and
freaking awesome.
200 mile an hour wheel speed
It's freaking awesome.
for no reason other than it's fun.
Yeah, just to put the show
through
on.
the line, like through the tree burnout. John Force that mother. God,
I've always been into burnouts. I don't know how much y'all love burnouts, but
Been doing them a
Jimmy
long
gives
time.
me heck all the time. He's like, "All right, money bags and burnouts." Like, I'm sorry, I can't freaking help it. I'm sorry. Brand new tires on the truck.
you got the Dodge and melted the right rear tire off of it like within a month or two.
Yes.
I mean, it
I'm
happens.
sorry. You go to dinner with the kids on the way home. Kids are like, "Dad, let's go do a burnout." What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Not do a burnout?
Yeah, how are you going
Like,
to not do that?
Yeah, these are my
It's
shirt.
right there.
I wrote
Yeah.
this shirt. Like,
Yeah.
I've never said no.
How could you?
no.
All right, guys, that's segment 2. We're going to go do some burnouts out in the parking lot. So we'll give us about 5 minutes and we'll be back in here. While we're gone, be sure and subscribe, YouTube, Spotify. Be sure and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Get Slydewayz with Barry Clapp. We'll be right back. Hey guys, we're back getting Slydewayz with Barry Clapp, with Micah Delosier, with James Rowlett. We've got a lot of fun stuff going on here, so I hope you're enjoying the show. I want to talk about the TV show that you did. So like the fastest cars of the Dirty South. So like you were on that for a couple of seasons, right? Like how did that all come about? How did that happen? Like what happened to get you in that deal? Like you got to do it too.
Yeah.
You guys were both on it. So how
was
did that
like-
all come about?
It was kind of dumb luck and kind of me just being who I am and figuring out what they were looking for more than anything.
Because y'all got to do the whole episode where you gave what happened? You gave them a car, they had to build it, or
Yeah.
try to beat your car. What was what was the deal?
First off, I will say none of the show was fake or staged really,
Yeah.
except for like one thing where they might have said somebody's car was somebody else's car, but really it was mine or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly my Impala.
Okay.
But anyways,
Okay.
Anyway.
but no, the premise was they could take you would have two, if you had two race cars, you could give them your slow race car and they would fix it up and outrun your fast race car.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I was like, And I knew, the guys doing the show
Mm-hmm.
because we're all drag racers and I've been around it for 25 years or whatever, or more than that if I wasn't racing. So I was like, okay, total whim. They put a, like not casting call, but if you're interested in doing this, send us your slow car and your fast car and your story or whatnot.
Yeah.
Send it in to, it was not Motor Trend, it's somebody else under Motor Trend,
Okay.
produces the show.
Yeah.
And I just knew. I just had this feeling. I knew that what I was going to come up with was they were going to eat it up because the people that produce the show don't know crap about cars.
Yeah. Sure.
But they can tell if it's a challenge or whatever,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
it's not a realistic challenge,
Yeah.
they don't know that part. So I went and bought this Vega from Matt Hogan in Gallatin, and it was a basket case. Everything on the show, if you watch it, if they talk about it was a basket case, it was a basket case. You were supposed to have like a car that'd been running, it proven, whatever. Who knows if this car ever ran, you know? So somehow me, Micah, all my buddies, we all scrounged together whatever crap we had to make it run, because it was a roller.
Oh, wow.
Like out of a field.
Out of a field, bro.
An old dirt car or something. Had a
I don't know.
cage,
It wasn't
it's
good
like
for
a
anything.
cast iron cage.
It wasn't good for a dirt car.
Had some water pipe in it.
It was terrible.
It wasn't
Gosh.
good for any kind of car at all. But so we just kind of gathered. Some people donated some used stuff. We crammed stuff together, pieced it together. I cut the firewall out to make the motor fit, and just never put anything back.
Yeah.
It was just wide open right there.
Motor plate, everything, nitrous.
We put a nitrous 5.3 in it and blew it up in the parking lot before we ever made it there.
Okay.
So then we had to scrounge together something else, so we got a 4.8. So like, first off, you know, I basically just fibbed a little bit that this car had ran at all, and it stuck, man. When they saw that piece of crap, they were like, "Oh man, this is exactly what we want for this show."
Nice.
You know?
And then you had the boost of burden.
And I had my Mustang, boost of burden, my Mustang, you
Had
know.
the flag wrap on it.
And it was already we'd been racing it forever, you know. It was a good days, you know, 490 car running a whole bunch of 5 teens, you know, 140 mile an hour, 8th mile.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't worried about it. And I was like, we're going to try. And I didn't have the money to even buy that Vega in the first place. I mean, I think it was $2,000. I don't even remember how I got that money,
Yeah.
because I don't think I even made enough money to buy it then, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just went on a whim and was hoping it would work, you know. And then with Micah and everybody else's help, we just crammed it together, and we had to drive all the way to Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
And it was freezing cold. Why does this happen every time? And you know, we had to do the whole thing like we were making the bed and whatnot, which we were, but I went out there to make a pass in my car. And, you know, I've ran the no prep stuff, so I can make it go down the track. I had like all the power taken out of it and everything else. And it was sketchy. It was like I was driving on snow. And I remember I just drove back around, and Michael was going to drive the Vega and show them the Vega running. And I just gave him a big hug, and I said, don't spray it. Don't even think about it. I was like, just barely drive it down do a huge burnout.
Meanwhile, like, I've never driven a car down the drag strip. Like,
oh yeah, Mike has never made a drag
we
strip
had
ride.
motorcycles and stuff, and we would, you know, I've been down the drag strip who knows how many times on a motorcycle, but I've never actually driven like a car, a vehicle,
in a very, very
with
dangerous
down the track, and they stuffed me in this. I mean,
we never really wanted it to go fast or anything. Anyways, it was just a facade, you know.
Pulling up to the line, it's like on TV to where, I mean, everybody was all over in the car, and I can't see. It's raining a little bit. The lights.
We've
Trying
never
not
driven it either, by the way,
Like, I think we drove
The parking
backed
lot.
it out of the shop, did some burnouts in the
and blew it up.
in the thing, blew it up, and I don't even think we started
never
it and really ran it after that. We put it back together and loaded it on the trailer and drove to Mobile.
In fact, it was out. The cam timing was out on it because when they took it apart, you know, when the other guys got it, they were like, the cam wasn't in time. And we were like, well, no wonder it would backfire every other time
Nice.
or whatever. It was just a facade to make it work.
Yeah.
And they just loved it.
Loved it.
And they, you know, the whole deal was they were supposed to make it like my Mustang. My Mustang, I did drag week with it, you know.
Yeah.
You could drive it 1,000 miles on the street and pull a trailer, and you wrapped my trailer.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know. I mean, it was supposed to be the same. They ended up building a tube chassis.
Well, they got another car because that car was bad.
I thought that's what I remembered
Like,
about the
it
show.
was
I
so
thought they,
rusty
it was
and
so
just
bad they literally threw it away.
They
Yes, they didn't use
Yeah.
any of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
They got a whole nother Vega that was still drug out of a yard
Yeah.
But they built a tube chassis race
It
car
was
out of
cheaper
it.
for them to do that than it
Yeah.
was to fix the one that you gave them.
Yeah.
I
they,
still
they
have-
told us. They told us.
They said
you
they
know,
were going to do it, and you know, I said, well, you know, I know I got you on this, so if you feel like that's what you have to do, go ahead, because it's not something I want anybody to drive fast.
Yeah, yeah. Did you tell them you didn't even want it back? Like what was the deal on that?
Yeah, I pretty much did tell them I didn't want it back.
Yeah. I mean,
That-
it was
and-
their car at that because they bought the car to replace it. So this was our new car. Our
They took
chance
some.
to win that
They
car
took a
back.
few things off of just a
Right.
couple of small things off that other car that were good,
Mm-hmm.
and then just built a whole new car. You know, and it got painted, and it got, like I said, a chassis with a 4-link, and
Yeah.
you know, the front end was different. The
One piece front end.
you know, the interior, all the real nice tin work, and you know, it wasn't something that I even wanted, but it was very good looking.
I
It was a
remember
nice-
seeing it
was
when
a
you
nice
got it
car.
back.
It
Yeah.
was a nice car.
And they put a nitrous aluminum 434-inch motor in it to try to outrun my car that pulls trailers.
Wow. And how'd that work out for them?
Well, luck of the draw a little bit.
Yeah.
I stood on the bumper the first pass we made, literally just all the way up, and that cost me that race. And then the next race, they ended up spinning real bad, and then, it's rust flying out of the panels. It made it spin. I'm like, whatever. And then what happened the last
And then
one?
Mikey red lighted.
Oh, yeah, Mikey red lighted on the last one. So I kind of won by default on the end.
Nice.
Hey, a win's a win.
That's right.
But-
Don't matter.
But like I said, it was really an unfair advantage for them. They took it a little too far
Yeah.
in the real world
Yeah.
by building what they did. I could have done the same thing and just
Sure.
blistered them.
Yeah.
But
we could have built a whole new car and
yeah, they had to build that to run with my street car.
Yeah.
I could have drove it there and raced them. It
Yeah.
was in Jackson when we raced. I could have drove it to Jackson and raced them and drove it home.
Yeah.
But I did end up winning it, and I did get the car.
You did get the Vega.
yeah.
I did get the gold Vega, but it was rolling. There was no engine, no
Yeah,
transmission,
they took the motor. They took the motor out of it.
Boo.
and a whole bunch of other stuff off
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to argue about it. I mean,
Considering what you gave them to start with.
a $2,000 car that was worth $300,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
some used parts we had together. But I did get, I think, my 4.8 or whatever motor that we
Yeah.
didn't blow up, and a transmission and converter and ignition and carburetor and whatnot off of that one. I got that stuff back, so it kind of. I mean, I guess they didn't want to give me a $40,000
Yeah.
small block.
Yeah, no kidding. So they gave you back enough stuff to get it back to where it could run
If I wanted to.
or be sold or whatever.
It just sat there, and this was before the real big, crazy no prep stuff everybody's been doing was going. So I couldn't do anything with it. There wasn't any racing I could do with it. We were going radial racing. You needed stock suspension. You needed this. You needed it didn't fit the bill for anything. So I sold it, and it's passed through a few hands, and it might come back one day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff
You're liable
does.
to see it again, yeah.
But I did win the car, so
Yep.
that's true. I did that, and then I think we just kind of had a good time, and they let me come back for a second season, and we had some fun. But it wore me out bad,
Well, on the second season, you kept having to drive to Muscle Shoals.
I
every
did have to
time.
do that a bunch, and we were filming a bunch of stuff at my house, and
And COVID and stupid masks. And
Oh, gosh.
how was that?
Masks,
I didn't have
COVID,
any desire.
being
That was
there
the
all
end of it.
day,
I'm sure that killed that. That
being
would've
there all
killed it
day,
for
all
me.
night at my house doing that every day. And you're supposed to be however many weeks it was. I think it was only supposed to be like 8 weeks worth of filming, and it turned into like 15 or
It was a
something.
bunch.
And and by that time I probably made like $3 a week, But it was a cool experience, and I tried to include all the buddies I could get onto it. I had your huge sticker on the trunk of the Mustang.
Yeah.
Yep.
I loved it when you dragged the back bumper. You could see my
Right
sticker
there.
from like a mile away.
And of course the wrap. Everybody knew that wrap.
Yeah.
That was a cool flag. It looked
Thing
good.
That was a good looking car.
I thought about trying to bring it back on the drift car, but I
But-
thought maybe we should try something else. I don't
Decided to
know.
paint it green.
When you
instead.
see that exact kind of flag,
Yeah.
everybody knows it's me.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Maybe we can do a
Paint-
green version of it.
Paint the thing black and
Hey, I mean, it's an open book for you. I mean, you can go back and wrap it how you wanted to when
Yeah.
you originally.
Yeah.
I'm just driving. You
Put
can
it-
tell me to step away from the paint gun because I will.
it's probably not
I
a
just
bad
can't
idea.
help
It's not,
myself.
yeah, I mean,
I did paint all the wheels white.
well, what's funny
That's
is
okay.
we had a when you left that day there was a plan, and then the next thing we saw was one side's green, and that was kind of opposite of what the plan was. So maybe it's not a bad idea to pry the paint gun out of your.
Well, you know, it would have been easier to do something
Why
else.
is one side green? What happened? Why is one side of that car green now?
Well, I was
See,
just
what had
I was
happened
just
was-
staring at it. I was
And I
staring
had
at
this
it,
can
and
of
And I had
green
this,
paint.
Yeah, I had this air. Was
And I
it,
love
this
was
color.
It at least an aerosol rattle can.
no, it's shot out of a paint
It's
gun.
real paint gun. Okay.
No, it's just, wiped down with a rag and shot straight over it. I did tape up the windows and crap,
That's
and
good.
just I wanted to see what it looked like. I was like, this with the white wheels would be pimp. I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I'm just stupid like that. Well, I think I painted the front fenders.
painted the fenders, and you sent me a picture, and it was like, I mean, you could do that, or you could just paint the fenders white. That way, you just have to paint the fenders.
Not that it matters, but I just felt like I wanted to make it my own.
Yeah. I
That's,
I
it's
get
your
that.
car.
Absolutely.
I
You gonna
just
leave the
kinda-
flag on the top, or you gonna peel all that and paint the whole car green?
I don't know.
We haven't got there yet.
I haven't got
Like
there
it
yet.
I kind of feel like it needs to come off now.
It's probably the best to peel it off, and we can do something else.
Absolutely.
Or, it doesn't have to be the teal green color, but
Yeah. No, make it yours.
Or-
Like I said, make it yours.
the teal, that color is kind of another one of my things. Like
Yeah.
Because the Impala.
'Cause
It
honky-
matches the
Yeah,
Impala.
that's right.
honky tonk is that color.
Yeah.
That paint is for the roll cage in honky tonk. Obviously,
Gotcha.
I never finished anything, so I still have the paint.
Well,
you
didn't
know.
they?
The
didn't
cage
they,
is in there.
Didn't
but
they do an S13 that was kind of that? Maybe not that exact.
It was like
shade
a
of teal,
seafoam
but-
green.
Yeah,
it was
and
silver, and
and maybe had a silver,
like a silver
body line down.
under-
it
kinda
wasn't very good looking back then. If I
Yeah.
remember right, it was the two tone kind of
thing.
wasn't.
more of a pea green.
But that color, it's like a '68 Cadillac, and it has pearl in it and all kinds of
It's a
stuff.
pretty color.
It is pretty.
But it's just some single stage paint I had
Yeah.
for the roll cage. I was like, we'll just see what it looks like. If it looks cool, it kind of grows on me, but it's a drift car. You can just keep changing it if you want
Yeah.
to.
I
mean,
feel
I
like
mean-
if the whole car was done, I think it'd really be pretty.
Yep.
Then we could do some cool stuff with some.
If you got some
graphics on the
ideas
side
for
and
that,
whatnot.
then
Yeah.
yeah, because I have enough paint and I can get some more. It's not expensive. But I was, especially with the engine out right now, engine and transmission are out of it. I can actually paint the whole engine bay. I can paint the jams and everything if I want to.
Yep.
And then we can just go over the top of it, just like you did with the white. You
Yeah.
did the white and did the flag, and
Mhm.
Yep.
I just kind of, I want everybody to know it was your car, but now it's mine, and it's got to be a little different,
That's
You
right.
got to make it your own, man.
right?
Throw
I'm just
that,
trying to pick
throw
up
that
where you
teal on it, and then we can throw some lighter green and some darker green. And
I mean,
maybe
I
some
even came
silver
up
or
with
something in it.
the teal deal.
The teal deal,
It doesn't have to say like that, but I thought that was hilarious.
not
other
the
day.
real deal, but the teal.
That's,
Teal
that's
deal.
right, the teal
No doubt.
deal.
I mean,
Because I'm not the real deal.
we can
I'm-
make it. We can make it look like it though. We'll make you look like you belong.
Give it a shot.
It won't take you long.
But the goal is to drift LS Fest
Yes.
Oh, nice.
that's
This
a-
year,
this year. That's a large
September, right?
It's a large undertaking going from
Wow.
didn't own a drift car till like last week or 2 weeks ago or
Yeah.
whatever to
Yep.
let's drift LS Fest.
Yeah.
Sounds impossible.
Nah.
Nah,
Stuff like that keeps me going though.
Yeah.
I
A
like it.
goal.
I like it.
It's a and if I don't get to, that's okay too, because I still want to do this.
Yeah.
Man, I hate I'm not going to be there for that. This will be the first LS Fest I've missed in a long time.
I've only missed it twice, and I was on Hot Rod Drag Week those times. It was
nice.
like the same time.
Yep.
We signed a deal with Triple Crown to do a autocross truck ride-along deal for them, the BFG thing, and it's the same weekend.
Speaking of that, the C10 Nationals are this weekend. Are you gonna go
No,
there? to
the
that?
Southeast Truck Nationals.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
are this weekend in
The
Lebanon.
Southeast. Yeah.
Truck show.
I saw
or something
C10s
like
all
Yeah.
day today.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, C10 Nationals they're in September. That's after LS Fest.
Yeah.
But this one is
This one's at the
at the fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds in
Wilson
Lebanon.
County.
Yeah,
Yeah, over by my house. The other
C10
one's-
Nationals will be at the Super Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when it's nice and hot and
Yes.
miserable over there.
See.
Yes.
Of course, my
Absolutely.
Suburban is at
it?
the paint shop.
Oh, did you get it back? It's not at.
It's not gone anywhere.
It's not at Streetside. I thought it was over there for.
I gave up on that. Now it's over there getting a paint job,
Nice.
and of course this thing's this weekend, and it got dropped off like 4 days ago.
Nice.
Could have just waited and
What
went
year
to
model's
there.
that?
It's a '89. It's still a square
It's
body.
square body. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 5.3 and a 4L60, and it's dropped.
That's sweet.
And I've had it for like how many years now?
Has it been 2 years?
Longer than that.
Has it?
I like a square body bourbon.
I should have traded you the drift car for that.
Dang.
I'd have had the boot on that.
Had to put a little in it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. You don't need all the stuff you have. Come on.
Come on, man. Shh.
We just have to take one of those S13 chassis that's clapped out and put a Civic body on it
Why not?
and have an S13 Civic.
K-swap it.
No.
Just swap the
LS.
front clip on it. Just put the front clip on it. Put a Civic front
I don't
fenders
care
and
what you
hood
do
and
it.
nose.
Do with it.
The
I need
whole
to post them
body.
others up for sale.
That way it'd be a Civic hatch.
We don't want a hatch.
Look
got
kinda
I
the
like
same.
The coupe.
Oh, got to be a Civic.
An
coupe.
EG coupe, just like the one I have. I just need one that's a drift car with rear-wheel drive and one that's the turbo front-wheel drive car.
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be kind of cool. I'd like to see a Civic out there drifting with us. I could get down with that.
It's not impossible.
Nope.
Not impossible. The money might be, the time might be, but it's not complete. It can happen.
It could happen.
You never know.
Do they make aftermarket bodies for them things like drag clips and things like
Fiberglass
The
that?
Civics?
front ends.
Fiberglass stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about quarter panels, but I know they make
Like
the
a whole
front
front
ends.
end.
Mm.
all the drag guys have like the fenders that stick way out
Yeah.
for the slicks and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think it looks stupid, but
Well, you'll need that if you got a Wise Fab on the front of it. That'd probably fit about
you
right.
can come up with something for the back.
Yeah.
I mean, you should look it up on YouTube and Google like a Civic on a S13 chassis. There's guys that have done the K member and stuff like that up under the Civic and then put the subframe in the back of the Civic.
Oh yeah.
And there's been guys that cut the whole floor out of the Civic and set the body and cut the S car apart and set it on top of it and use all the strut towers
Oh,
and the
wow,
whole
damn.
structure and everything. It's
The whole
still a
bottom pan.
240.
Yeah. Whole bottom pan stays.
And that was super cool. I looked into it way too hard.
Seemed like that'd be easier.
It'd be easier to just win the lottery and let somebody else do it.
There you go. Now we're thinking.
You got to think out of the box.
That's
though.
what you got to do. That's what we do here on this show. Absolutely. All right, guys, that's another segment. So we went from drag racing to being on TV to body swapping a S13 to a Civic. So you'll never know what you might hear on here. So we're going to take another little break. Y'all chew on that a little bit. We got any comments or anything from the gallery there, Mr. Jimmy? Y'all chime in and give us some things to talk about.
We had Kelly laughing whenever you were talking about Derek being a sissy.
Oh, well, that makes sense. We'll come back to that. We're going to take a little break. Be sure and subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, follow us on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, all that good stuff. Slide Factory, get Slydewayz. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Finch with Finch Performance, and we're just going to take a quick little peek around the shop here to see some of the different things that we work on around here. So first up, we've got some chassis in production. We've got a small backlog right now, but we're knocking out some 67 to 72 C10 stuff. We've got a really cool 67 crew cab Chevy here, C10. We've made a custom one-off Apex Predator chassis with long arm suspension all the way around. This thing's going to be pretty badass. 56 F100 with the Coyote 10-speed. Just all we got left here is really getting the supercharger installed, finishing up the wiring and a little bit of the fuel system, get it fired off. And then, of course, we're back on our Ferrari 308 custom project here with the LT5 engine and a Graziano 6-speed transaxle. So this thing is going to be full kill, badass. And that's just some of the things we do here. So we don't just build trucks. We build a lot of everything. Main thing is we have a good time because that's what it's about.
If you guys are interested in getting a vehicle wrap done, or if you guys just need a banner made for your office or something cool like that, a mural on your walls, give Graphic Effects a call. 615-896-4301. They're in Middle Tennessee. They're the best in the business of what they do. If you need vinyl, you need stickers, you need wraps, give these guys a shout. Graphic Effects, 896-4301, 615.
All right, guys, welcome back to Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. We've got Micah Delosier in the house tonight. We've got the great James Rowlett, the Boost of Burden, in the house tonight. And we've been rambling on for almost 2 hours, so this has been a great show. We've had, we've covered a little bit of everything, James. We've covered drag racing and...
I'm sorry, it's ADD.
all the way. No, it's great. It's awesome. That's what you're here for. So we've covered everything from junior dragsters to Civics to Mustangs to Impalas to TV shows. My gosh, man, what have you not done? You've been around the world a little bit, haven't you?
I've really tried to do everything I could get into. I always did. I'm just... everything's a new opportunity. Doors can open from just being somewhere, no matter what. And if you really enjoy something, you might as well go after it if it's not too hard.
Yep.
So, yes, I have. I mean, we used to ride four-wheelers and dirt bikes and go crazy, and I made videos. But we had the cassette.
Oh, yeah.
Filming wheelie videos and motorcycles. And I really have tried to just do everything I ever wanted to do somehow with no money, just however I could figure it out. And drag racing just kind of stuck around because it's easy to, if you're not super serious, you can just do kind of like the fun days at Drifting.
Yeah.
But they have a fun day every Tuesday night at Union Hill or Beach Bend.
Just like a test and tune.
Test and tune. You can just test
Yeah.
and tune if you want to, or Buffalo Valley,
And it doesn't matter what you bring. You can have a
It doesn't
good
matter what
time.
you bring. You can have a good time. It doesn't matter what you bring at all. Bring the minivan, whatever. I've raced all kinds of stuff. And that's kind of why that stuck around, because I didn't have to have a race car to go do it.
Yeah, just to go play.
Yeah.
Whatever you got, 3 or 4 buddies in the car with you and throw down.
Can't do that anymore, but,
For real?
you can't ride in the car.
No
anymore.
passengers.
Just in the co-pilot race.
Dang,
That Buffalo Valley used to just... We had the dogs, 4 or 5 people in the truck.
Oh, yeah. That's what we used to do in Mooresville. We used to go to the drag strip in North Carolina, me and Ashley. And
I think Gary got in trouble for insurance with that. And they're like, okay, you can't have like 4-year-olds in the van with you going down the drag strip like with the door open. I mean, it used to be a free
Sliding
for
door
all.
open.
It was fun, but yeah, so that's kind of lighthearted and easy to just go play. Anybody can go drag racing.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
So you went up and did the Beach Bend thing where they're starting to do a Tuesday night, every other Tuesday night test and tune up there, right? You went up there for one of those just here recently.
I did. It was
with the new car, right?
last Tuesday night,
Yeah.
or
Scotty D up there running the show.
was it last Tuesday?
Two Tuesdays.
Two
Two
Tuesdays ago, because this Tuesday was, yes. Scotty D run the show. It was great, laid back, organized.
Very cool.
Nobody was acting like idiots, you know.
Good.
There were some guys that were just trying to learn, and
Nice.
Scotty was really going out of his way and getting in the guys' cars and driving it or riding and telling them,
Nice.
maybe you should try this. There's a couple of dudes. And then there were some other guys that they just wanted to do some figure eights, or they just wanted to cut up. And he's like, I'm glad they're not there on the street running into somebody doing takeovers and crap.
Sure.
So he's like, they could go out there and do some burnouts and figure eights, and you know, there wasn't really anything to run into. And then he'd be like, all right, you're done. And then they come back around and
take over practice. Like
Take over practice. We'll
it's
see.
like now
that.
we can do it in the intersection.
Yeah,
after we
we'll
got
see.
done. Thanks, Scotty. Teach us how to do that.
then there was another guy, and
man.
I wish I could remember this kid's name, but he was really, really passionate about learning how to do it, a younger kid. And Scotty worked with them all night long,
Nice.
and I saw the progression and the progression. He's really
That's
really into it, wanting to get
That's
into
cool.
it. We want everybody to
That's
get
the
into
fun.
stuff and have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And it's
Yeah.
lighthearted, and it's fun to drift beach bin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of opportunities to do it, and it's a different surface. It's at night, and it's so hot outside.
Yeah.
that
yeah,
is
I
great.
guarantee you that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went with the car that should have never even went, because you know the block has crack all the way down the bottom, and then it has cracks on the top of the deck that Micah knew about and didn't tell me.
I told you it needed a motor. Like,
Well,
that was-
Micah said it'll start and run and drive onto the trailer.
That's a partial disclosure, not,
he wouldn't
not
even-
a full.
When he picked it up, he
disclosure.
was like, "Is it going to start?" I said, "Is it going to start? Fire that thing up!" And it did. It
It
fired.
did. It started right. The battery wasn't dead or anything.
No.
It started right up.
Didn't sit there for freaking 6 months.
But Micah had, I mean, he knows me good enough to know that I was going to try.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
About what 4 bottles of Blue Devil and
it wasn't supposed
an egg
to
and
go.
salt and pepper in there.
It wasn't supposed
just-
to be drifted with that motor. It was supposed to be driven on the trailer so I could drive it in the shop and swap the motor,
Put
you know.
yeah. Okay.
But I had to try. So I
Sure.
got like 3 different kind of head gasket sealants, and the tabs, the Blue Devil, the K&W, the block seal, the you know, copper looking stuff.
Everything Shacklet told me not to put in there.
But I was like, I've got nothing to lose. It's cracked.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's cracked bad
It
enough
was
to where
dumb.
you're not saving it.
Yeah.
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 Let's just see if we can go. And it ran all night long. Like I said,
awesome.
Scotty, he made the last 2 laps in it. And he's coming around, and it's just geyser smoke out, and just throws a rod out the side of the block. And then, like, we went over there and got the rod into pieces of the block off the ground. I mean, it blew straight outside of it.
That's awesome.
And then started up, drove in the trailer. Started up, drove in my shop with the hole in the block and the rod gone, the piston sitting sideways in there and all that. That thing doesn't owe us a dime.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it got drifted. It got beat on
Yeah.
over and over and over, and should have never made it past driving on the trailer.
That's awesome.
So that was cool.
I love that you put Scotty in it to let him blow it up. How'd he react to that?
He was pretty torn up about it. He's like, man, I'm so sorry. Like, I've never windowed a block, you know. And I was like, yeah, we literally don't care. Like, it's hilarious. We had a great time.
He
Like,
is officially
awesome.
join the club.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry that you didn't get to
Yeah.
make a full run.
Yeah.
You know, I really didn't care. And it was cool. I wanted to see him go drive the car, come back with some feedback,
Yeah.
you know, and
It should have been like, oh my gosh, man, I just put that motor in here. What are you doing?
he was having a ball. I'll tell you that. You can ask him, because he's coming back around, and he's like, I know you want to make one more run tonight, but I think we were supposed to be done already.
Oh,
And we're
nice.
still out there.
Nice.
And he's like, I know you want to make more. I was like, no, I can see how much fun you're having.
Let it
And give me some more feedback. Tell me this is a piece of crap and we need to fix something, or you noticed something, or it was fun, or whatever. I don't care. I've got my fill tonight. Just go out there and let her have it. And I mean, up until it shot the rod out of the side of it, it didn't show a sign of blowing up. I mean, there's no telling how hot it was.
Yeah.
300.
It was definitely cooked.
I don't know if it had oil pressure or I don't know anything. None of the gauges worked but the tack.
What else do you need?
You know. Yeah, that was fun. I'd like to go. The goal is, it's a pretty tight one, but goal is to go this next Tuesday.
August, or back up to Beach Bend.
Go back up to Beach Bend
And
with
then we've got our event
new motor.
August 3rd, 2nd or 3rd.
August 3rd, yep. Well, we actually have, I'm going to go do IA next Saturday.
I got you. But for him, at least,
Like this coming Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
is it this
Next.
Saturday?
Next.
Saturday at Speedway.
18, 19, whatever that is.
Haven't considered it because I'm just don't even know what I can go to because I've been so
Yeah.
worried about getting a car going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
got another engine. It's gonna go aluminum 5.3
Nice,
stock bottom end. Just gonna use that. I got the heads at Shacklett's today.
nice.
I just had them dropped off with some more stuff and then just check them,
Yep.
whatnot. I had one bent valve, just a little bent from the piston
Mm.
sideways in there. I mean, it's stuck in the bore.
I
sideways.
saw the picture
Yeah.
with it in there cocked in
Yeah,
your
it's like-
sideways.
Yeah, this one's like perfect,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
one's like
Yeah.
one eye was looking at me, the other one was looking at Rick.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was pretty funny. Pull the head off, but
Poor thing.
I'll definitely have the engine together and the car put back together before Tuesday, and then do some more ironing out on the suspension and get some more grip because it's still real loose.
Yeah.
And I don't really, I mean, I understand car physics and suspension and geometry and everything, but I don't know how necessarily to make the car grip up more. I mean, I'm learning.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I just thought of a
So-
couple more things that
I think we let the tires down to
to
about 16 pounds before the
Yeah.
end of the night to gain some. I was like, surely once you go below 20 or so, it's probably a moot point. But Scotty
Yeah.
was like, no, where's the tire
Come on-
gauge? Let it
come on
down.
down,
again."
yeah.
The difference is you're spinning them so fast they kind of balloon
Yeah.
out a little bit.
What-
When you're autocrossing, you can only drop them down so much because it will start to roll and you'll
Mhm.
lose grip. But with your spinning them so fast, there's still some grip to be had just by dropping. the
Once you
pressure
go down so far on any
yeah,
radial street tire, they're not going to do their job.
yeah,
But yeah, you could probably let them down a little bit more than that. But I don't see past like 15 pounds it really being.
You don't want to go much lower than that. You debead the thing.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Wow. Bead locks on a drift car.
Yeah.
We let them all the way down, baby.
Who needs air? Just run some run flats.
You could run some drag radials on it. I thought about that, but I mean, it'd be great. It's still going to spin the tires,
yeah.
but
It's
I bet
expensive.
if you had a set of drag radials, not some Nidos, but like some decent ones, I bet they make one run and they're bald.
Gone.
It's about like that time that Finch put a set of rivals on the back of the vet for me, and I went out there, and he was like, I bet you it bogs a car down. It won't even spin. They smoked like a train, and they were bald as they could be when it
Yep.
was done.
Yeah.
About 3 runs, and they were gone.
Yeah, got to figure out some tires in the car too. Those were the cheaper Acceleras or whatever.
Yeah.
So
you need
they're
to try those Zinc Novas over there, that wherever that pile of tires is behind
is that
me.
the one that Derek talks
Yeah,
about?
yeah. They actually do really well. It's a weird.
I should probably get an engine in the car.
That's a
and then
new
worry
weird
about it.
brand, but yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's just find what everybody's running and try them. And, right now it's not a huge deal because I'm not trying to be super competitive. We need
Yeah.
to get that ironed out. But like LS Fest, if there's like a super awesome tire that we need to have, I'll make sure I have
You need
some.
to have a tire.
Yeah.
A good tire.
If I make
for
it at
that.
that. I'm really
Well, that's how you
hoping
get,
I can make
That's
it.
how you get consistent. Is you get on the same tire, whatever that tire may be, but get on the same tire.
Yeah,
that
the car
so
needs
that
to-
the car acts the same every time you get in it.
100%, which is with anything else too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I just got to get there. I just 2 weeks ago rolled it in there and just immediately took it up there and just threw it in there. Just threw it in there and let her have it.
Yep. That's what she wanted.
I love it. That's what she needed. That's right. She needed that. She's been sitting a long time. Just needed a good day off, good outlook, good outbreak.
It felt great. It gave me a little like jump. I'm like ready.
Let's do it.
Just a little charge.
I'm frustrated that I have to go to work, you know.
Yeah.
That is
I
frustrating.
could be working on a drift car.
Yeah.
But you got, so I guess that's another point. You got the shop up and running yet? The new shop that you
Yeah, it's going.
at the dealer?
Yeah, it's going. It's very hot in there. We don't have air. And you know, there's still stuff at my house that I probably need over there to work on certain stuff, but it's regular cars every day, newer cars. So I'm trying to figure out what I can keep at home. What can I leave over there, or what do I need to buy something else for this shop? Like there's some stuff I'm just not going to take it over there. I work too hard to have it at home. I'm just staying there.
Hell yeah.
But it's tough, you know. It's a whole lot of volume of cars, and just now getting into the swing of it to organize it at all. It's just, and I'm not very good at being organized in the first place, but you know, there's a whole lot of stuff rolling through.
That's good.
So fill us in. What is that? What are you talking about? You used to do it at your house. You used to have your own shop at your house.
Yeah, and I mainly worked on hot rods and
Race cars and
fabrication and wiring and
Turbos,
whatever.
pipes.
Definitely turbo stuff. But my buddy is part owner of 231 car sales in Lebanon, and they have like 150, 175 retail cars on a lot.
Okay.
Nice stuff, and then probably 250 plus wholesale that you never even see. Probably they come in, get sold to somebody right out of that lot, or in, you know, going to the auction or whatever. But so a lot of the stuff, especially the retail cars, I need to go over them, fix stuff that's wrong.
Okay.
But since I'm in the same parking lot, basically, the logistics of worrying about shuffling cars back and forth is solved, and there's a big lot to park stuff. So
Nice.
we're just getting used to it.
So
You know,
you don't work for him. You have your own shop in the adjacent lot next to 231 Auto Sales.
yeah,
So it's your own shop, though.
it is. They rented the building for me,
Okay.
so I would be there and dedicate
Oh,
myself to their stuff.
Gotcha.
And I'm thankful, and that's great. I don't have to pay rent on the building.
Nice. Yeah.
Just have to do their stuff and make it happen. And I should be able to go in and do what I do and leave and not worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, I go to the backyard in my house and work on this race car, and I can't let it go.
Yeah, you
And I
can't
can just
get away
walk right
from
back down there and work on it again
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I don't need to. And
Yeah.
I can kind of leave it behind-ish
Yeah.
being over there. But I got in trouble for having too many cars at my house, so that's kind of part of the move.
Yeah, I bet.
It happens.
Well, but that's big. That I remember when I used to work out of my house, and you couldn't walk away from it. I've printed wraps all through the night, setting an alarm at every hour so I could get up and check the printer. And I remember the first time I got a brick and mortar that was away from the house, so that I could literally go to work and then leave work and come home. And I remember that was a big load off, you know what I mean? To be able to leave it there and go away.
It feels great.
That's got to feel great.
But I've been worn out because it's just a whole lot mentally and physically. And when I go home, I still have things that aren't done.
Sure.
I still have customers' cars there I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just now getting to where I can go back down there and mess with it. It just stayed a wreck, and I didn't go down there for a few weeks because get home and just pass out on the couch because it's just
worn out.
Yeah. Because they're just, like I said, how many cars they have.
Yeah, you're having to roll through some
And there's a
cars
whole
there.
lot of stuff that's an hour job
Hmm.
or whatever that's just, and Fender's been over there working with me and my buddy Rondell,
Yeah.
and they're going in and out, in and out, in and out. We're trying to keep up with each other. What needs to be worked on? And I'm trying to talk to Brad, and it's just, it's chaos.
Gets pretty hectic pretty quick.
But my wife says if there's no chaos, then I'm not happy. So
Yeah.
I gotta have a little bit, but it's getting there. I just have to be, it's just growing pains.
Sure.
It's now it's more volume because I'm over there and it's just right there, and
Yeah.
I have to be everybody. I have to keep up with all of it,
Yeah.
and I really I still have to work on it, but I've done a whole lot less working on the car versus diagnosing and having
Finding the
somebody else to
parts
do
and-
the stuff for what it needs, and
This
then
needs that. This needs that. Pull that
'Cause,
out.
you know,
bring that in.
there's
Yeah.
we're all the same way. Like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot to go. There's a lot going on. So the drift car's been my reprieve. Kinda.
Something that you actually want to work on.
Yeah.
For
Yes,
yourself.
something I want to
Something
work
that you
on.
like. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's big.
So we'll see. They gave me a opportunity, and I'll do my best to
Heck yeah.
live up to my end of the deal. You know, stuff happens, and it's not always perfect, but I always try to do what's right. So
That's right. Nothing wrong with that.
big jump,
Big jump. Leap of faith.
because I kind of had it figured out to, if I wanted to just go screw off, I could go screw off and
Yeah.
then come back later and or whatever. But
Yeah.
I really don't have time to do that over there.
Yeah.
So that's
And
gonna
you
take some
definitely don't
getting
have the
used to.
space.
You know, they might have somebody that bought a Jeep
Oh yeah.
and they're like on the way to get it,
Yeah.
and it like needs the air conditioner fixed right now.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Get this other stuff
That's
out of
what-
the way and fix this right now. The guy's on his way. Will be here in 30 minutes.
and sometimes I get mad about that, but at the same time, it's kind of like a challenge, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're coming, like, let's make it happen, and
Best get your mind right.
that's nothing new. You know, my Brad Mixon, the GTO.
Oh, yeah.
He used to have the adrenaline. You know, we took the Z06
Oh, yeah.
Corvette, you know,
Mhm.
to or whatever, and then he had the GTO, and we wrapped it like
Yep.
Boost of Burden
Yep.
and
Yep.
whatnot. That's who it is. He did me a solid, and when he went into this business, he brought me in. He
Nice.
set it up for me to be able to do that.
Nice.
And I've been stressed, and I've been trying to make it work out, and it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out just fine.
Cool. All right, everybody out there, go out to 231 Auto Sales and see the inventory because it's going to run good. James will make sure of that for you. It'll be sure and be a good unit. So we're going to take another quick little break, come back with our final segment. Be sure while we're gone, watch the commercials, check out our sponsors, but also subscribe to YouTube and Spotify and follow us on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. Look for Slide Factory. Look for Get Slydewayz with Barry Clapp. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Finch with Finch Performance, and we're just going to take a quick little peek around the shop here to see some of the different things that we work on around here. So first up, we've got some chassis in production. We've got a small backlog right now, but we're knocking out some 67 to 72 C10 stuff. We've got a really cool 67 crew cab Chevy here, C10. We've made a custom one-off Apex Predator chassis with long arm suspension all the way around. This thing's going to be pretty badass. 56 F100 with a Coyote 10-speed. Just all we got left here is really getting the supercharger installed, finishing up the wiring and a little bit of the fuel system, get it fired off. And then, of course, we're back on our Ferrari 308 custom project here with the LT5 engine and a Graziano 6-speed transaxle. So this thing is going to be full kill, badass. And that's just some of the things that we do here. So we don't just build trucks. We build a lot of everything. Main thing is we have a good time because that's what it's about.
If you guys are interested in getting a vehicle wrap done, or if you guys just need a banner made for your office or something cool like that, a mural on your walls, give Graphic Effects a call. 615-896-4301. They're in Middle Tennessee. They're the best in the business of what they do. If you need vinyl, you need stickers, you need wraps, give these guys a shout. Graphic Effects, 896-4301, 615.
All right, folks, welcome back. Final segment of Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. We've got Micah Delosier, co-host. We've got James Rowlett in the shop. We've, talked about a little bit of everything. James, what's left, man? We've covered everything from junior dragsters all the way to your new shop you've got going up there in Lebanon. We've hit it all. Like,
I hope we have, because I'm worn out now.
you've done great. It's been a great show. It's been really fun to talk about how you started and what you've grown through and the different things that you've experienced and driven and all that good stuff. So, man, what about this drift car? What else are we going to do? What about the taxi? Like, aren't you guys talking about reviving the old
I would
drift
love
taxi?
to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't care what Micah has to say. I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do to it, you know?
So Micah was in on the original build of the car.
Oh, yeah.
He actually stayed in the car for about 10 hours straight while Brent and I bent tubing and handed it to him. We wouldn't even feed him. It's kind of funny. There's a
long day.
There's a set of build thread videos somewhere on YouTube about it. But,
I think it was 17.
something like that.
2017,
Yeah, something like
because-
that.
Yep.
You wrapped my little drag week trailer
Yeah.
right before drag week.
Yeah.
And Dad went down there and dropped the trailer off or waited. I don't remember, but I remember he was like, "You should see what they're building down there right now."
How funny.
He was like, "I've never seen anybody build a drift car out of one of those." And he said it's going to have 4 seats in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it all was inspired from Chris Forsberg's M35 drift car that he had built a couple of years prior, I guess, something like
Yeah.
that, with a big crazy. Of course, he kept it all Nissan.
Yeah.
He had a big crazy Nissan V8 in it, and so we just got the idea to build one. And I had sold the competition car. It had gone up to Michigan. I'd sold it as a roller. Had a little money in my pocket, so I actually had Brent down in Atlanta find that car. He found it on a Craigslist or something, whatever it was back in the day, and went and bought it. And it wouldn't run but about 40 miles an hour, and transmission was bad in it.
I didn't even think it ran at all.
He
so-
drove
yeah.
it. He drove it home
Drove
down
it
the
in.
interstate. It like to scared him to death doing that, bringing it home. But he kind of gutted it, and then we just took a weekend and drove down to his house in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and that's where we bent the bars and put the cage in and made the seat mounts and all that stuff. So,
I
yeah,
love that car. That's
it's a
one
cool
reason,
car,
you
man.
know.
It's a neat car. It'll be fun to see it back on the track. It's one that we miss, you know.
that's part of the whole me getting Micah's 240 thing. You know,
Mhm.
we're doing some stuff with
Yeah,
getting the taxi back together.
yeah, that's good. That's,
Or we're getting the taxi back together.
That's really
That's
cool.
cool.
That'll be
Yeah.
fun. That's a fun car to drive. Like, it handled really well, and we hadn't done much to it, you know, set of coilovers, and now I think you've put a neat
Yeah. I've
angle
got
kit on it.
angle kit on it, but it's gonna get some upgrades. Motor's gonna get upgraded from what I had in it. Like,
Yeah.
I drove it for that little bit and put just the little LS1 in, and it worked.
Yeah,
You had to drive it really hard.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
yeah,
You
yeah.
had to throw it in there and stand on it like a low horsepower car, because for how much it weighs,
Yeah.
it was a low horsepower
And it's
car.
Yeah.
you know,
So-
as long as a long
Yeah.
bed truck
Yeah.
too.
It's-
It looks like when it's out there.
It's 3,600 pounds with nobody in it. So with 4 people in it,
people in
it's
it.
probably 4,500 pounds. You
Big
know?
old girl.
It's
It's
a
going to
big
be
old
more
girl.
with an iron block and a turbo, though.
It'd be all right.
It's
We'll
cool.
have the power to overcome
It
it.
has
now.
all. It's
That's
gonna
right.
have
So-
power, yeah.
Well, got some fuel system upgrades for it. Gonna upgrade the fans and radiator and
Yeah.
I think we're going to run on both cars a pump and a cooler on the trans.
Yep.
Oh,
trying
nice.
to, trying
Pump
to
the-
figure out a
pump the
transmission
fluid out.
cooler.
Very cool.
God, those pumps are high.
Oh, we're not
I was
buying
looking
that.
at that stuff. I was like, good
We're not
lord.
buying- All it is
Gotta figure
is
something out. There's actually already a fluid pump on the car that we used for the old supercharger. So I need to
Oh,
look
yeah.
up the specs on it
Yep.
to see if it's okay with 300-degree temperatures kind of thing. That's going to be the only
Yeah.
thing if that pump's capable of doing fluid that hot. But
I have the pumps.
Yeah.
okay.
Mazier.
Okay, cool.
So it was a 408 with the LSA blower on it.
Yeah,
It made 525 horse, 585 torque.
yeah,
That was what was beautiful about it. We could do the sweeper in 4th gear and not have to downshift in the little button hook at the
Yeah.
end of it. You could just e-brake it, get it set, and mat it, and it would just blow the tires off of it back then. With
That blower was cool.
It was. It's sweet. That's what's in the truck now. That's the same one.
yeah.
There wasn't a ton of LSA blower swaps back then either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and back when I bought that, it was like, they were just starting to go bad from GM, and they were on shelves everywhere for $800.
They weren't
could
even
get 'em
bad
cheap.
either.
Yeah,
It's just the isolator.
cover.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
isolator was bad,
Yeah.
and you'd buy an aluminum one instead of the little plastic one that was in it, and it's fixed. And I'm going to use it in the truck. It's the same blower.
Unless you're me and you don't realize that the bypass hose is leaking and it's making boost while you're driving down the interstate and just melts it together and locks the blower up.
That's bad.
It happens.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me for sure. Yeah, that's what was on the Impala last was
Oh.
it had a 4.8 with a LSA on it, and when it was pulleyed up, it was on like 23 or 24 pounds.
Yeah.
And had that air-to-air experimental lid
Yep.
and all that. And that car weighs like 4,500 pounds.
Yeah.
And it would get down. And it had I broke 2 or 3, at least 2 TKOs, and then put a Magnum in it, and it took the Magnum just fine.
Nice. That's the only thing I'm worried about with that much power, because it's actually gonna have some power now.
I would love to drift that car. I know that sounds stupid.
It's gonna be.
It drives really nice.
It really does. Like,
It really
especially
drives
adding
nice.
that little bit of angle.
Mm-hmm.
It drives really good now. I
And
can't
it's
wait to drive it because
Dude,
I don't
it
think
transitions so
Yeah.
slow. It just swings. It
Yeah.
just, like, that's what's fun about it is you take passengers, and you're used to being in the middle of the car when you're just in the passenger seat. When you're in the back seat of that car, especially, when that thing swings, it's like a 7 or 8 foot pendulum swing when you transition.
Yeah,
side
I
to
was.
side.
That's what I was saying. It's like a long bed truck, you know.
Yeah.
I've swung my big trucks and dualies and
Yeah.
stuff and sideways before. It's hanging way
Yeah,
out there.
way
and
out there.
There's a long way to
I
go.
put a kid to sleep in the back seat of it one time. I had a kid pass out in the back seat of it one
Oh
time,
my gosh.
swinging from side to side.
I might pass
He
out.
was all smiles, gone. And I didn't even know it because he came back too before we got back to the pits.
Well, you're not looking back there trying to make sure.
No, it wasn't my problem. I got home and the next night I had posted some videos. I used to have that 360 camera right there,
Yeah, that was cool.
And I posted some videos up, and Scott Clark is the one that actually saw it and commented. Did that kid pass out in the back seat? And I was like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. And I went back and watched the video, and sure enough, out like a light. It's too much for him. That's a great car.
Well, it's going to be even crazier now
I love
because if we can use it, which I feel like the weight of the car and the wheels that you can put on that car and stuff, you ought to be able. We can just keep stepping it up until we can't use anymore. Kind of like,
Yeah.
I mean, if it had 800 wheel horsepower
Mm-hmm.
all the time, if you wanted it without worrying about it blowing up, what's that gonna do?
You can do
Whatever
anything you
want
wanted to with it.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
The
Plus more on tap if you want. We can
Yeah.
put a scramble button on there
That's
if you.
what I was thinking.
If you're coming
Just-
through the sweeper and you want a
just-
sticker in
just at the
fifth.
end, just for that smoke
Yeah.
show,
Oh, dude.
and just do
Oh
it.
yeah, at the end
Yeah.
just.
So that's the only car that I've ever corded a set of brand new tires in one run at the super speedway in. We
Is
were
it because of the weight or just the wheel speed?
the wheel speed.
Fourth gear.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of everything.
Fourth gear wide open. It was one of Louis' events that he had done at the super speedway, and he was like, I've got my camera crew with me. You need to take us all in the car at one time and really pound it. And I was like, all right. So he was in the passenger seat, and his little his little media guys were in the back seat, and we did the sweeper at the Nashville Super Speedway at over 100 miles an hour. And then I didn't even downshift. I just left it in fourth gear and literally blew the tires off of it and corded them in one run. Brand new set of tires.
You made it. You got her wound up and just it had enough power to just roll fourth gear
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
That's a lot.
I mean, you think about the torque that car had. When you hit that button hook, you're probably down to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, but it has instant
And
all
just
the
matted
torque.
it, and it
Yeah.
just, you can feel the car stand up on the back end of it.
What kind of rear gears in that car?
It's like a 345.
A 345.
I want to say a 345 is what the Infinities had, but
Oh yeah. So
not
if it's at
100%
like
sure.
$7,000 in fourth gear, you're talking about like, we'll see, 160 mile an hour wheel speed or something. Yeah, I can imagine it melted them off.
So I ran that thing down the drag strip at Beach Bend one time just for the fun of it. And of course, with a drift setup, it wouldn't leave the line. It was chattering. It chattered. It about knocked my fillings out of my teeth. But I got it in second gear and got it to settle down, and then it squatted and went on up through second and third and fourth gear, and like my time was only 13 something, but the speed at the end of the run was 126 miles an hour on a 13-second lap.
Yeah, you could have, if you could leave the line, carry a lot more speed out there.
Probably a 10-second car or close to it.
But that's great for something that weighs just probably barely below 4,000 pounds, loaded down to bear or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was there when you did that.
She's fast. It was at
Beach Bend.
It was at Beach Bend, and JT and I went down a strip at the same time.
It was that.
That was the streetcar takeover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had to re-weld
Streetcar
the diff.
takeover. That's where I drove the red car at.
I had to re-weld the diff in the parking lot.
Yep, that's
couldn't get the exhaust off of it, so couldn't get the diff out and take it home. So I had to bring a generator and the welder back the next morning, and underneath the car weld the diff back together.
Yeah.
And then he was able to drive for the rest of the day.
Yeah. What a day.
That's what we do.
Exactly.
That's what we do. That's right.
Like, it was fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's going to be fun again.
Hell yeah.
We're going to have more power than we need on tap, so you can just dial it back like you were thinking.
It's got to learn how to drive again.
It's a 6-liter block, just like 30 over.
Yeah.
Rods and pistons, stock crank, but it's got main studs,
nice.
Head studs. It's got a turbo cam. It's got a comp 78 millimeter turbo, billet center section. Nice stuff, And it's, we were talking about worrying about it lighting off and, is it going to be laggy or whatever. Well, I mean, the car will spin the tires with no turbo on
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So by the time it needs
it's already going to be lit off before the turbo even gets there. That's going to make it light faster.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to wear it out. There might be when you shift, maybe but it's still going to be spinning. So it's going to be wild.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm interested to feel that. Like, I've never really driven a turbo car.
Oh, really?
I've never driven a turbo car. I think I drove Schiraldi's car one time in Alabama a long time ago, and when it wasn't even running right.
Yeah.
So, like, that doesn't even count. I've never really driven a turbo car.
I don't know about drifting a turbo car. Besides my SVO, that doesn't count. But they just never stop pulling.
Yeah.
I mean, the pull never stops. Like, it just, nitrous, kind of peters out a little bit. Blower, it's doing what it's doing, and it's still awesome, but turbo just keeps making more, never stops pulling until you let off,
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've rode it in boosted burden, 1,400 horsepower, the wheels.
I just wonder if it's going to,
Like, God,
wow, like that, all of a sudden really fast. That's the only thing that would worry me about it.
No, I don't think it is.
Because I've seen a bunch of cars that do that.
You have to, the turbo and the engine are kind of matched together, and the turbo is kind of small for what we would drag race with, and so it's not laggy at all. It's not just gonna go nothing, swing all the way like a Supra or something, like a 2JZ Supra with a big turbo. It's like, or my Honda. The Honda's like nothing, rev limiter.
all of it. Yeah.
No, it's gonna be more linear. It's gonna be like spinning good and then spinning a little harder, and you can let off a little bit and kind of keep it from going crazy.
Right.
But if you want to, you could literally
mat it
and cram it in the next gear, and it's gonna pull whatever gear you're grabbing.
Yeah.
If it's already spinning, it's not gonna stop. And then
awesome.
you could let off the gas and it's still gonna be spinning a lot.
Yeah.
You have to work on the rear caster and
Alignments,
cable and toe and all that stuff to get it to where.
I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see because turbo drag cars, I know all about that.
Yeah.
But drift cars,
We've got a couple buddies with pro
like
cars
Cash
that are
Hurst,
Cash and Hooman. They've all got big turbo
Yeah.
V8 cars, and they do well.
Yeah.
Hooman talks about it was a little weird getting used to,
there's got to be a
driving
reason
it,
that
but-
everybody doesn't do it though. I don't know if everybody's nervous or or what, but there's a reason. We're gonna figure out that reason.
Yeah.
And if it sucks, we can take the turbo off, and you got a really nice short block or long block or whatever.
I might have a Pro Charger sitting on the shelf.
I
just
know
in
you
case the
do.
turbo don't work.
I know you do. But you know what?
Can we do the
We can do both.
turbo
Yeah, do both.
and the Pro Charger?
And nitrous.
Put the turbos out back. Put the Pro Charger on the front.
You put the blower on it,
Yeah.
and it's gonna. You know how
That'll
blower.
be the low end.
Well, you know how like that blower is gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna. You're gonna tear the blower up. It's
Yeah.
gonna throw the belts and all that
Yeah.
crap.
I know.
You know, the LSA stuff is not as bad about it, but those are,
Notorious.
and they don't make huge power either, really. But the turbo, set it and forget it. You know,
Nice.
no belt to screw with. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Just pistons and rods to do with.
I mean, dude, that you're not gonna tear it up.
I'm excited.
That's
Look at
awesome.
what I've beat on.
Look at what he's blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just talking about what you beat on.
How do you learn? You know,
Blowing stuff
Yeah.
up.
you
Tearing it
can
up.
you can tell me all you want,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Tear
have
it
to do
up.
it for myself.
Yep.
Tear it up.
We had Jonathan's, Mustang running his Coyote Mustang. He put a stock bottom in 5.3 and
Yeah.
running low fives in
Yeah.
the 8th mile for 2 years.
Yep.
Stock bottom end engine,
Hmm.
Yeah.
stock heads. I mean, just a turbo. Like, took it apart.
Beautiful.
Fine. It's all tune up.
Yeah.
It's all in the tune up.
Yeah.
We were learning tune ups. We were learning all that, and I just was fortunate enough to be able to blow it up and figure out how to fix it again. And
Nice.
it's just how you learn. So we'll just learn.
Yep.
Now the motor, I know enough about tuning and stuff, and the motor's good. We're not going to have to worry about that.
Yeah.
We're going to have to worry about all the other stuff that can't handle all the power.
Axles and
I guess the diff is a good one because that's what everybody uses anyways, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
I
just
mean-
weld the stock diff up. They take a lot of power.
Man, that's going to be a lot of wheel speed with a turbo
The
and a
axles, will,
345.
the axles will break first, I think. I've already broke a set of axles in it once.
Yeah.
That I will say, it's going to be easier on axles.
Just because it's going to light the tires off so much.
The power is kind of linear and not jerky, so if it wouldn't break it naturally aspirated, it's not going to be hard on it with the turbo. I mean, if you're just sitting there clutch kicking the crap out of it, of course you can break stuff, but
yeah.
With that much power, you should never have to do that.
yeah, so
You
I
ought to
mean,
be
it
able-
should just,
You ought to be able to be smooth.
yeah, it should be smooth. Even coming into it, it should just be smooth. And it's not going to make all that torque the blower did right off the bat. It's going to
Gotcha.
make it quick, but, it's going to roll in. It's going to
Yeah.
be smooth.
Yeah.
The turbo cars are just easier on parts
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
when it comes to that. So
That's sweet.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean,
We finna find out.
I might not know, but we're going to know
We'll
something.
figure it out.
That's right.
Well, check it out. We've only got a couple of minutes left. We've smoked through 2 hours here. Is there any sponsors or any family members you'd like to thank for your great success that you've had down through your career? Take a minute there and tell us who's helped you get to where you are.
Oh, man, I don't know if we have enough time, I've had a lot of people over the years help me. You have. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Micah for sure. And my dad, he always supported me. My wife for sure, Jessica, she for some reason keeps letting me do stupid stuff. You know? And I hope my daughter Poppy's watching.
The
She
new-
wanted to watch.
The new racer in the family. That's right.
She likes to do all the motorsports things with me. And then my wild son Rowdy, that's his name. His
Nice.
real name, Rowdy.
Nice.
And Holly Performance, they always kind of stand behind me, and I try to help them. And I just like Holly stuff,
Nice.
especially the EFI. I like
Yeah.
it, and man, I'm not really prepared to thank everybody I can. John Shacklet at Shacklet's Auto Machine,
Nice.
and old Barrett at Big Hat Mafia, if you remember the Big Hats.
Yeah. Still got
we
them.
I haven't gave
wear
him
'em.
a shout out in a while.
On top of the shelf over there.
Let's see. Man, it's like Brian Tooley Racing.
Yeah.
Brian started that business. I was there in the beginning
Nice.
doing stuff with LS Motors and whatnot. And So that's been cool. That's still going on. Parts get bought every day, you know. Man, I just really feel like I'm going to leave a bunch of people out because I got a lot of pretty good friends, and everybody old Fender, he's like, you want to go drifting? Yeah, let's go. You know, and he's like, well, if I'm being an asshole, just let me know. I'm like, you're just telling me what to do. I don't know, Fender.
Yeah.
I'm learning. You're teaching me.
That's why you're here. Help me.
I appreciate it, you know.
Bender's a good dude.
And then, like Derek Carter, I mean, he didn't have to let me drive his car all that time and whatnot, you know. But we kind of grew up raising hell together with everything, so
Nice.
I guess it wasn't that big a deal for him. But I do appreciate that. All the times especially this last time, I feel like it just kick-started me going. And he's been giving me pep talks for so long. He's like, please get a real drift car.
Yeah.
Quit buying Mustangs and crap that are not a drift car.
Yeah.
Just buy the real one. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can drive it.
Yeah.
Just buy one.
Yeah.
And he finally pushed me far. That pushed me over the edge.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And man, it's just, like I said, way too many people they know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, Brad Mixon, I mean, he's done a lot for me and got me a new job going.
Nice.
Shannon Carnathan, he always bails me out on stuff too, you know.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think there's a set of tires at his house I'm supposed to pick up on the way home.
Nice.
You know. Man, it's a lot easier when you're on Instagram and Facebook and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot this one right here.
That's right.
Lance Drager,
You can-
R&D.
Nice.
R&D Performance in Michigan. Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine, and just bought a LS3 525 crate motor for him to put in the truck your
That's
motor's coming out of.
Sounds exciting.
He's a big LSA blower guy.
Nice.
Does a lot of that, and then injectors. Builds his own injectors. I mean, that's where I get all of my injectors from. So
Wow.
if y'all need good injectors that aren't crazy expensive,
Wow.
look up R&D Performance Fabrication, Ortonville, Michigan.
Wow.
One of my good buddies. Yeah, I
Cool.
just go from there and figure it out. I guess.
Everybody else that knows James, that's always helped James, he's thinking of you. It's just not in his mind right now.
There's
the same
too
thing.
many. There's too many.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guarantee it. You've been doing it a long time.
I haven't forgotten anybody. I just can't gather it up right
That's
now.
right.
You know, it's wild being in the community. It's they all kind of merge together. No matter what motorsport you do, almost there's a lot of stuff.
That's right.
Goes hand in hand.
That's
you
right.
know. Is it thundering outside?
That's a good question.
Is it just an airplane?
It could just be.
Airplane, a dog. There's no telling. These microphones pick up everything. Well, that about wraps it up, guys. It's been a great night. James, thank you for coming. Micah, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We got a couple events coming up here pretty soon, most notably Import Alliance next Saturday. Southeast Truck Nationals in Lebanon Fairgrounds this Saturday and Friday and Saturday,
Going on
I think
right
it
now.
is.
Like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that opened up today.
Maybe it loaded in today, yeah. Of course, our big event coming up, the first ever Music City Muscle Car Challenge coming in August the 3rd at the Nashville Super Speedway. The event page is up for that. Go ahead and get signed up. That's going to be a car show, drifting, autocrossing, have the RC guys back drifting with us in the garage area again. Got some pretty cool vendors coming for that too. There's a dude that's like a die-cast guy, but he specializes in just the little Hot Wheels. But dude, it ain't little Hot Wheels. It's like detailed, like this bigger scale, but down like that. And got a lot of cool import cars and stuff with it too. So.
Kind of like the Johnny Lightning things they
Yeah,
used to have.
but just
or-
the 1/64th, the Hot Wheel size, but just incredibly detailed. He's
Don't
a cool
tell my
little
son
cat,
that.
so don't take him to the booth
he has
because
to have.
you better have $100 bill with you because he'll have to have a little bit of everything.
There is another one I thought of that I could thank if you let me.
Yeah, hit it.
mention one.
Hit it.
So White House Performance Parts.
Hmm.
Actually, Poppy's sponsor.
Oh,
My
nice.
daughter has a sponsor. for it.
Nice.
So there's not a speed shop to buy anything anymore if you think about it.
Yeah.
Tennessee Speed Sport's gone.
Yeah.
So they stock a lot of stuff that is the oddball stuff that you'd have to call Summit or
Oh,
whatnot to try to find. So White House Performance Parts.
nice. Very cool.
Awesome.
And they really were cool, stepped up in Poppy's program on
Nice.
a junior dragster and made sure she got all of her safety gear
Oh,
and
nice. Good. Yeah.
whatnot. So, but they have way too much stuff for me to mention. It's all nice, good, the fittings and the hoses and the Zeus fasteners
Oh, yeah.
and the
Yeah.
just everything, fuel, nitrous.
Everything.
It's like Tennessee Speed Sport was.
Nice.
They saw an opportunity to stock things locally
Yeah.
that we can go get if we need it today, which typically
Nice.
we do.
That's what
In the
happens
last
when you're
second.
It's actually
racing. Yeah.
here.
We need it
Here.
now.
That's right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Fa-
So
Fantastic. Well, stay tuned. We'll figure out who we're going to have on the show next week. We'll put a little blast out for that. But for now, that's it for tonight. Get Slydewayz with Barry Clapp, Micah DeLozier, James Rowlett. We'll catch you next week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.